Yes, ready, start. Sir, taking up the other matters on which the President's address is being criticized. One criticism has been on the point that the prices have not been contained, that even though we have stated that the inflationary tendencies have been arrested, yet there is no ostensible evidence of the prices coming down in the market. It is again an unfortunate state of affairs. We know that prices are controlled in two ways. One as by the general laws of economics of demand and supply, and the other is by legislation like we did through the Defense of India rules. Now, so far as the first aspect is concerned, the prices are controlled by seeing to it that supply is equal to demand, at least that it they do not exceed the demand. They should at least be able to meet the demand, and that when that happens, prices themselves stabilize and adjust themselves. Therefore, it is absolutely necessary that there should be sufficient production in the country, both in the industrial as well as in the agricultural sector. But what has been the attitude of the opposition on this particular aspect, whereas it is absolutely necessary that there should be 100% man days working in industry and agriculture, right through the year. We have seen that the total strategy of the opposition has been to promote Bharat Bandh, to promote strikes, to raise all kinds of industrial disputes, to cause unrest among the agricultural labor, and thus by all means to ensure that the production is crippled. It requires an ostrich to ignore a contradiction of this type. When you are crippling production, then the prices cannot come down. The other method of controlling prices is by the various legislation. It is a method still open to the government, and maybe if otherwise the prices cannot be contained, the other method may be used on some unforeseeable occasion. But speaking for himself, I would still be advocating and contain the prices by the normal economic laws. Socialism always means an increase in production, an increase in the wealth of the country by producing more in industry and agriculture, and it is result of this increased production which is distributed amongst the people. That is the concept of socialism. It would expect when we ask for cooperation from the opposition, we are asking for cooperation of this kind. The other point to which a reference has been made is about family planning. Family planning is another very vital aspect that has got to be considered by us in the course of the last 50 years or so. Our population has doubled. We very well known that we one more than 100 crore in number at the end of this century. Unless we can control population, it is not possible to raise the living standards or the per capita income of the country. We have made phenomenal gains in the course of these years, but unfortunately all those gains have been eaten away by the growing population. Ascent has to be given, emphasis has to be laid on all programs that deal with family planning. Unfortunately, family planning was made such a controversial subject, so much propaganda had been conducted, so much hatred had been created against it, that it is very difficult now to deal with it in many manner except one of purely voluntary basis. We have got to educate the pupil. Now we are educating the pupil. It necessarily takes time, but sooner or later we shall have to deal with this problem on a war footing. Unless that is done, it is very difficult indeed to create an India of the dreams that we have been thinking of. Then, sir, I must answer a point that was raised by the honorable member who finished just now. He warned us that we must not leave the fate of the entire nation in the hands of one person. Sir, ours is thoroughly a democratic party. Our party is replete with very high grade intellectuals. Some of the finest intellectuals of the country adorn our party, but whenever decision making is concerned, you will find always in all countries it is at the top level with one person. Please think of Britain. When Britain was in difficulties, the total decision making process had been left in the hand of Churchill. He was advised by his cabinet, he was advised by his advisors, but the decision making process was in the hands of one man only. Similarly, when France fell on evil days and it became necessary to revive the economy, it was De Gaulle who took on himself the task of revitalizing the entire economy of the country. In America too, you may remember that in the days of the darkest recession, it was Roosevelt on whom fell the task of revival. Therefore, it is nothing new, it is nothing extraordinary that at the apex in our country, the matter is being dealt with by an individual only. Stop.